So the very first thing I need to explain to you, even on the most basic level, is something known as the long tail. Now the long tail was a phrase coined by Jeff Bezos, who created what company? Amazon. Right? He had a very well-paying job in New York City, on Wall Street, but he was back here. He's back here. He saw internet growth rates of thousands of percent every year. And he's like, this isn't a fad. More and more people are going to be online in the future. I'm quitting my job, and I want to open up a bookstore, an online bookstore. People can just buy books, any books at all. His boss said, Jeff, I think he graduated first from his class in Princeton. He's a brilliant man. You have a good job here. What are you doing? He just got married. He said, go home and sleep on it. Jeff went home and slept on it, talked to his wife, came back the next day, and told his boss, Jeff, I'm gone. So I'm driving out to Seattle. And in that car ride with his wife out to Seattle to open up what we now know as Amazon.com, he came up with this concept of the long tail. And I'm going to explain this to you. It's very, very important. Chris Anderson, editor of Wired magazine, wrote a book called The Long Tail several years ago. And there's a lot of information about the long tail in that, obviously. But to Chris Anderson's credit, he said, I didn't create this term, Jeff Bezos did. So in par with that, I did not create this term, Jeff Bezos did. Chris Anderson wrote a book about it. I'm going to explain it to you in 30 seconds. Or less. Who am I kidding? It's going to be longer than 30 seconds, but you get the idea. So the long tail is a very simple concept that has serious implications. We all know about the top 100, don't we? The top New York Times bestseller, the top songs on iTunes, right? Yada, yada, yada. Okay. What the internet has allowed, what these tools have allowed, is the creation of those millions of people around the world to write a book, to produce a song, to create a piece of jewelry, to create a piece of clothing, and to sell it. Never before in human history has an ordinary human without a college degree been able to write a song, publish a book, create jewelry, create clothing, and sell it to a global audience. They could sell it in a local flea market, sure, of course. The world was built on that local commerce. But since 2005, really, all the tools I'm going to mention in a second have really been born 2005 to the present. Humans, 2 billion people, now not all of them yet, but in probably 10, 20, 30, 40 years, we're going to have a lot more people involved in this. People from all walks of life are using Lulu, LULU.com, to write a book. All of you can go home, start writing, go to Lulu.com, upload your file, and start selling it. I don't make any money off of any of this. I'm just here talking about the tools that are available. It costs you nothing. If you want a hard copy of the book, it costs you $8, $10, whatever it costs to have the book produced once. Get a colored cover, customize the cover, you can edit the inside as often as you wish, and you can start selling. You would have jewelry. I wear no jewelry. I just don't like jewelry. I don't like it on me. It bothers me. A lot of people do that. Etsy.com. How about Cafe Press? Are we familiar with Cafe Press? Go to Cafe Press. What this is allowed to do is not only give everyone the power. I just wrote a blog on our website. We have a blog, and I talk about the ice industry. Ice used to be an industry. I mean, if people are familiar with their history or maybe even old enough to remember ice houses, right? You needed a middleman to get access to ice, didn't you? You don't need a middleman anymore. You have an automatic ice maker in your freezer, and when it breaks like me and you don't fix it, you have to get the ice trays, and my kids are still laughing at me every day because I use the ice trays. I'm working on it. Give me some time. I'll fix the ice maker. The middleman is gone. There always used to be a middleman to publish your book. J.K. Rowling, editor after editor after editor turned her down in England. Forget it. J.K. no one wants to read a 600-page book about a boy wizard. Until one day an editor brought a few chapters home to his 8-year-old daughter and said, read this. What should Daddy do? She said, I don't want to read the rest of it. Why don't you publish it, Dad? He said, all right, J.K., I'll make a few copies, but get a day job because no one's going to read this book. The Beatles were told guitar bands are out, right? How many other stories do we need? Poor Paul McCartney wasn't even allowed to be part of his high school choir because he was told he couldn't sing. Really? Really? That's why I never judge someone's business or nonprofit idea. How do I know if it's going to take off? What I will evaluate, though, is your ability to present a compelling argument for it. That's different than the idea itself.